Now, in order to add a stock widget, what we have to do is we go to Element and scroll all the way to the bottom. And in the components section, you find something called Embedded. And with this, we can embed all kinds of third-party code. Now, if you are currently using a free Webflow account and have not upgraded your account or have paid for hosting, you will probably not be able to use this. This is only for advanced accounts for which you need to pay or if you upgrade your page. Now, I have an advanced account. If you want to upgrade your account, I'm going to link to a video in the section below, in the description below, explaining you exactly how to upgrade your account or how to add hosting, depending on what use case you have. If you do not want to pay for hosting, and if you do not want to pay for upgrading your account, you can continue in this video, and instead of embedding any code, you just embed a picture. Just like we did above, add a picture to your design. You could take a screenshot of the stock widget and just add that instead of embedding the code. However, if you want to integrate code, then you will have to unfortunately pay for it. Since I have paid for it, I can add the code, and all I have to do now is drag and drop that into the right-hand column. And this is going to open a window, and here I have to just copy and paste the code from the Webflow TradingView website and copy and paste it in here. Now, this is how most integrations will work with other code. Like if you want to integrate a SoundCloud music, if you want to integrate SoundCloud music, or if you want to integrate any other third-party code, it's usually as simple as that. Just copy and paste it in and hit save and close, and that should do the trick. Now, if we preview this page, you will notice nothing has changed. The reason is, in preview, Webflow won't display any of the code or won't let any of the code run. Now, in order, if you really want to test how that looks like, what we have to do is we have to publish our page. Let's go about publishing our project. I have never published this Surf and Trade website, and make sure you only publish it to the Webflow IO account as long as we are developing on it. Let's hit publish to selected domains. And that's going to take a second. And now that's published. Now, if we go and visit our website on the selected domain, it looks exactly like in the preview. However, this is how you can show others your website. And if you scroll below, you can see our widget is integrated. That already works quite neatly. Let's go about and styling this section a bit more. In order to do that, I'm going to swap back to the designer and let's start designing this thing. The first thing to change here is let's change the heading. And in order to change the heading, we can reuse the styling we applied to the section heading in the section above. Now we gave it a class of section heading, and let's give it exactly the same class here. I'm going to call it section heading. And the next thing I'm going to do is change the text actually in here. And we can also replace the text in this rich text element. Again, this is pre-written text. I have made all of this up. I'm not a trader and I'm not sure if that's all possible. However, this text is just meant for design purposes. Now, I am going to apply some styling to this left-hand column, and I think the text could use some margin on the left and right-hand side. So let's give it a bit of padding actually in order to push everything in on both sides so we have some more space. And let's take a look at how that looks so far. And I think that looks pretty okay, pretty good. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to examine how this looks like with this script embedded. And let's republish everything and reload this page. And this now looks already pretty good. Personally, I think this trading widget looks a bit too big. Let's change that. And in order to change that, I'm going to go back to the trading view. And first of all, I've removed already all these 3 links, commodities, bonds, forex. You can do that in here in these tab settings. The other thing I want to do is I want to change the size, and I'm going to reduce it slightly to make it 320 pixels wide. And let's apply these changes so it looks a bit more narrow. Let's copy that code and apply it here in the script section. Control A, Control V to replace the existing code. Save and close. Publish it again. And then let's examine how it looks like now. Let's reload the page. There we go. Oh, I think TradingView has some issues loading the widget correctly. Let's give it some time. There we go. Now, the only thing now is I think what would look even better if this TradingView widget would be a bit more centered. It is a bit too far from the right-hand border. We could, however, center this TradingView widget within the right column. Let's do exactly that. And in order to center it within the right-hand column, I'm going to make sure to select the right-hand column, and I'm going to apply some flex stylings again. I'm going to make sure to center and justify it inside the center. And that should center this whole widget within this column. I'm going to publish it again. And let's reload this page. And this looks already better. Now, I'm not sure if you read the text or not, but it refers to getting a free guide here at the bottom. What would be nice is if we could integrate the same button up here, below here again, to again incentivize users to click on Get Guide. Let's do exactly that. To add a button, all we have to do again is just select the button element, drag and drop it inside this left-hand corner. Let's adjust the styling. I'm going to change the text to Get Guide and give it a class of button. And now let's just center this. In order to center it, I am going to wrap it in a div block and use that div block to center the button. Now let's call this div block button wrapper. And you might ask, why don't we just center the button directly? But if you take a look up here, we have the same button. And if we were to center this one directly on the page, it would also affect the styling of this one. So that's the reason why we use an outside div block in order to style the centering of this button. And now on button wrapper, all I have to do is I have to select align center, and that's it. Now, the only thing I'm noticing right now is there are some paragraphs in here which create unnecessary spacing. So let's just click inside the switch text element and delete some of these space elements. And now publish everything again and see how that looks. And that looks already quite okay. I think that the stock widget is still a bit too tall in comparison to the text, Let's see if we can reduce its height slightly. Maybe we just take out 1 or 2 elements here. But otherwise, I think we are doing quite okay already. In order to change the height of the TradingView widget, we have to go back to TradingView itself. And in the widget settings, we can change the size from 660 to, let's say, 500 pixels. Apply our changes, and then just copy the code again and paste it into our editor here. Now let's hit publish to select the domain, and we should see something. This looks already pretty good. I think what we can do is we can increase a bit of the spacing here between the button and the text, just a tiny bit. And one last change I would want to do is how we employed this My Story in blue. I think it would be good if we repeat this styling throughout the website, or throughout this page at least, and make this text in the same color. Let's do that, and I think then we are finished with this section for the moment. So let's go back. Let's give this button wrapper a margin of 20 pixels that just pushes it down slightly and create some more space. And then let's take this My Terms and change it, give it a span element, and give that span element the blue highlight class, which is exactly the same one we applied up here. Now let's publish this again. We only publish everything right now because we are using some embedded script. Otherwise we could just preview everything. However, unfortunately, preview doesn't allow us to view embedded scripts, so we have to use the publish button for the moment. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. And let's go about styling the next section. Right now, all these buttons don't work. We will set that later on once we design the relevant page for this get guide.